Hi everyone, it's Katie from Chords Records. Welcome to my channel. Record Store Day 2025, Black Friday is over and I was able to stand in line for 2 hours at Red Eye Records in Sydney and get most of what I wanted. There's a couple that I didn't get, which I'll probably pick up later. I'm still undecided. But the first album, I'm just going to quickly show you what I got and talk about a bit about the story about each album and why I chose it. The first one is the Yousef Latif double live album from Elemental Records. Beautifully presented, as they usually are with this Zev Feldman's produced Elemental Records. It's just really stunning. Like it's just a beautiful gatefold. I absolutely love Yousef Latif, and I'd heard quite good things about this album from a few people who got the advanced copies from Elemental. And the first LP is 1967, recorded in Mosebach, Sweden, and the second LP is recorded at a jazz festival in Sweden in 1972. And there's a very kind of tight band for each one. So the first one in 1967 was Yousef Latif, obviously on tenor sax and flute, Lars Josten on piano, Palle Danielson on bass, and Albert Heath on drums. And then the second album in 1972 was Yousef Latif on tenor sax and flute, Kenny Barron on piano, love Kenny Barron, Bob Cunningham on bass, and Albert Toothy Heath on drums. So he's the consistent player with them, that kind of gorgeous rhythm of Yousef Latif and that sort of his album Eastern Sounds is one of my favorite jazz albums. And I have played this and cannot speak more highly. Don't sleep on this one. You have to get it. If you love jazz, if you like Yousef Latif, it is really fantastic. So that was my first pickup. Very happy to get that. The next one is this Zamrock album by Which. It's an unusual one for me to pick up in that I don't have any Zamrock albums, and I only know about Zamrock really through people like Dylan at Noble Records and a couple of other YouTube channels I watch, the vinyl community. And so I kind of knew what their music was like, and I'd streamed a couple of things, but it's so unlikely I'll ever be able to pick up an original Zamrock album that's in good condition in Australia. I just don't think I've ever seen one, and two, I'd be able to find one in good condition. So the opportunity to pick up this album, which is called Fool's Ride, which are a whole bunch of singles, almost impossible to get from the time of their classic album. And it's 1969, I think, around about that at that time, and it is just fantastic. I get it. I absolutely get it. I'm absolutely sold. If you don't know what Zamrock is, it was probably more like 70s actually. This might be 70s. It was a movement that came out in Zambia post their independence, and it was very much influenced by the prog rock, or even psych, but it's probably more psychedelic music and prog rock that was coming out in the early 70s. And they have their own sound, and Which were one of the leading protagonists of the movement of Zamrock. And this is just brilliant. I loved it. And so thank you for introducing me to a new style of music, which I didn't know about. And it is just all the things you love about that early 70s rock, but with that slight kind of African, beautiful African kind of percussion and singing and flair to it. It's just stunning. So I'm now a convert to Zamrock. My first album, Fool's Ride by Which, love it. This says on the hype sticker, impossible to find 7-inch singles, never on LP, and all recorded around their Lazy Bones album, which was that classic album I was telling you about. However, someone on Discogs has already commented that this was actually, these songs were released on vinyl in a box set that you can get. So it's not totally true, but brilliant compilation, loved it. The next one was, again, another recommendation from a vinyl community member, Ray Barretto, Together, Fenia. Fenia, I think, might have been a collective that he was part of. Ray Barretto was an American percussionist of Puerto Rican descent and was a Puerto Rican kind of music god, really, I think. And this one was 1967, I think. And this was released by Craft Recordings. So it's going to be quality. Because it was recommended, I'd never heard of him. I didn't know kind of what he was about, but it was recommended by someone I really, really trust their musical taste and knowledge of jazz and music. And I hadn't seen anyone else recommend this album for Record Store Day. And so I thought, if I can find it, I'll get it. And it was there at Red Eye Records. And so I picked it up. And it's very much kind of Puerto Rican rhythmic percussion music with singing. So it's a kind of combo of that very much sort of jazz, funk, rhythmic music from that era. Really brilliant. Love it. It's a little, for me, it fatigued my ears a little when I was listening to it. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And if you know, if you could kind of put it in the comments, it was just a bit, some of the horns were a little bit, and I had to actually turn it down. It was a little bit fatiguing, but really I'm not going to get rid of it. I really like it. Really pleased I've got it. So that's Ray Barretto, Together, Fenia. And I should say this one came in the classic Craft Recordings polylined. The Witch album was released on a label, and it comes in polylined as well on purple vinyl. This is released by a label called Now Again, or Now and Again. Now Again, I think it's called. And they release this style of music, so early soul and funk kind of finds and classics. So I'm going to check out that label because I didn't know it. All right. The next one, if you know me, you know how much I love Brandi Carlile. And earlier this year, they released an album with Elton John, or Brandi Carlile and Elton John released an album together called Who Believes in Angels. And to support that, they did a one-time only performance together at the London Palladium. It was almost invite only, some special guests. You could buy tickets, but it was very hard to get into. And they recorded it. And on the stage was the producer, Andrew Watt, who produced the album. He was playing guitar. Tim and Phil Hanseroth were on bass and guitar. I think on drums was Chad Smith, who was also on the album. Josh Klinghoffer was on keyboards and synths and organ and percussion. He was also on the studio album. And so this was a really experienced, very tight band. That's them there. And I was surprised at how great this was. I liked the album, and being a kind of a Brandi Carlile complete estate, I have several versions of it, and you can see another video I did of that. But I don't play it a lot. This album I will play. This is a brilliant live album in and of itself. It's a great recording. But the songs on here, it's 10 tracks. There's a few tracks from the album, the studio album. But there's also, Brandi sings The Joke live on wax for the first time. I'm so happy. And Elton John sings Tiny Dancer, Your Song, Benny and the Jets, I'm Still Standing, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, with the others as backing vocalists, and in a couple of them Brandi duets with him, which is really special to hear that combo together live. But what really surprised me about this album was Elton John's singing. I've heard a couple of live stuff of his, and I haven't more lately. His early stuff is great, of course, but he sounds amazing. But really, really incredible was his piano playing. There's a wonderful solo in Benny and the Jets that just goes on, and you can tell he's having the time of his life. And so I think it's a real treat for Elton John fans as well. So very happy to get that. I don't think that will be hard to find on the secondary market. I think that's for fans only. All right, and again, another one for fans only, and actually I've heard a couple of average reviews about this, but I collect all the Joni Mitchell archive series, the JMAs, so I had to get it. But Joni Mitchell always puts out a record store release of late, and this one is essentially pulled tracks from her recently released jazz box set, no, her archive box set, and it's average, to say the least. It's probably not worth getting if most of the recordings have been heard elsewhere, and the ones that haven't are very average. I think it's almost just they put it out just to keep the kind of the momentum going with all these archive releases, but I don't think it's one to get if you're not a purist or a collector like I am. So had to get it, but it's probably not a win for me, this one. Okay, confession time. I bought the Wicked soundtrack picture discs. I haven't even opened it yet. In fact, let me open it right now in front of you. Right, so I've opened it. There's the hype sticker. So it's a double LP. It's the first time I'm opening it. And inside, oh, that's quite beautiful. Obviously a film still. And let's have a look at the picture discs. They come in a sleeve with the songs and credits. Oh, cute. Yellow Brick Road. And I'll just show you the other one. So this is the Wicked for Good. This is the second movie soundtrack. And last record store day, obviously Wicked was the hot item of that. They had a beautiful glitter double album in a pink sleeve, and I assume this will be similar. Oh, it's the same. It's a Yellow Brick Road picture disc. I collect, not picture discs, that's just, I probably won't play this, to be honest. I collect, and a poster, hang on. One side is Glinda and one side is Elphaba. I collect soundtracks. I do have quite a big soundtrack collection. I love movies, and Wicked is so iconic at the moment that I didn't want to miss out. So it was probably a little bit of FOMO that I got this, but I'm really happy to have it, and I certainly won't get rid of it. It will go into my collection, and it has been quite popular in Australia, at least, for Record Store Day. Okay. And then this is a bit random. I got this Iconopop featuring Charlie XCX. I love it, that classic kind of novelty or kind of hit phenomenal song from a few years ago. This is a 33, it's not a 45, but it's a 33 RPM, but it's a whole bunch of remixes. And I do love a remix, and you can see it's kind of this see-through color. It's actually glow in the dark, and I am a little bit of a sucker for a novelty album, and I've got a few glow in the darks, and I just think it's really whimsical and fun. And I'm a collector of vinyl, so I do collect vinyl for the collecting sake, and don't judge me. I think we do it all for all different reasons, but first and foremost, it's music. I absolutely love music, and I listen to music all the time. This one was purely a collecting thing. The song's fine, and I've played it. I probably won't play it too often unless we have a party or something, but that was just a bit of fun. And then finally, for very similar reasons, the collecting reason, and soundtrack reason, and Australian reason, I could not pass up the Xanadu 7-inch of the single by Olivia Newton-John on purple glitter. I don't know if you can catch that in the, oh, you can't, in the oh, there you go. Yeah, isn't that pretty? This is fun. it's a live of Xanadu on side A, which is okay. I mean, Olivia Newton-John's got a good voice, but not a strong voice. But side B is a treat. It's the Deep Wave remix, and it is fantastic. I love a remix, as I said. I love Xanadu. I've got the original soundtrack on vinyl, and I couldn't pass up this single. So that was just a bit of fun. So that's it for my Record Store Day haul. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Tell me what you got for Record Store Day. I'd be curious, and tell me what you think about mine. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.